All right, so actually as of right now, we're done with the side molding project, but there's one little thing I want to fix before we reveal how the whole side looks. This piece of metal trim that runs around the window right here, you can see that the black wore off quite some time ago, but we're gonna mask it off, paint it up, and I think it's gonna look a lot better. So here we are. You know, I was actually gonna drive somewhere really cool to film this video. I thought that the video deserved that, but I just noticed something. Today is July 3rd, and the day I uploaded the first video of this truck was on June 3rd, exactly 1 month ago. I thought it would be a great idea to just park it in the exact spot it was in 1 month ago, and we'll go over what's happened. So as I see it, there's three main categories of things that have taken place. Things that I've bought, things that I've removed off the vehicle, and things that I've fixed. There's a pretty good list on all three of those categories. Okay, for things that I have bought, let's go ahead and start with this front end right here. Clear turn signal lights with new bulbs behind it, new headlight housings with H4 bulbs, new corner lights, and an all new chrome grille. I bought new door handles, but I haven't put them on yet. Once I found out these ones were okay, I hadn't kept them. Another thing that I've purchased is that brand new factory OEM door latch right there. An OEM dome light cover because the old one was rotted out. I bought a factory fog light switch to fill a blank that was in the dashboard. Bought new wiper blade inserts. I bought a new OEM ashtray for it, but hasn't come in yet. New rear license plate light housings with LED bulbs inside. So actually the shortest list is the list of purchases. Definitely more time and energy than money spent. So next up on our list is actually things that I removed. You'll remember very first thing was that sticker right here. It was an awesome sticker, but it got chopped the first day we brought it home. Second, used to have these hideous mud flaps down here. Gone. Had some Smitty belt side steps down here, took those off. Had a dash mat up here, and I really appreciate him having that thing on here the last 25 years, but got rid of that thing too. As you guys may or may not remember, there was one of those bug shield things up there. Never been into those things either. I mean, it's definitely good he had it on there, but it got tossed in the garbage quick also. Another item that got tossed was those seat covers. He had these seat covers on. I'm not a huge fan of seat covers. They just look loose and weird, and I mean, look what was hiding underneath. I'm super impressed with the interior. The only weak point was really that armrest right there, and so I kept the seat cover piece on it. There's a little bit of wear, of course, on the where the driver slides in over there, but the seats are incredible. And same thing goes for the back seat. Fantastic condition. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about that we removed, and of course you guys remember this from the last video, is those side moldings. Well, as you guys can see, I took one more day and I just went at it. I did more polishing with some compound, just worked at it. I actually involved some touch-up paint to touch up some of those big spots where paint was missing. I'm gonna say that it looks 50% better than I got it last time. Of course, you can definitely see where there was still some molding spots on there, but for right now, I'm totally happy. The only bad news is we still got to jump in sometime and do the other side. I just can't even imagine getting started on that. I probably have 7 or 8 hours into getting from where it looked before to right here, so I'm not excited to jump into that passenger side. But I told you guys at the beginning I wanted to take these fender flares off, but those things are definitely going to stay. You can see that the paint's kind of worn underneath, and people just seem to like them, and they fit the truck well, so they're staying. The last category of this video is things that we fixed. And there's been quite a few. It could definitely be a lot worse. There was only a few things, but one of the first things I fixed was this mirror was incredibly rattly. So I actually took it apart, and up here there's actually a way to tighten it all up, and it completely fixed it. So that was amazing. I bet the guy who'd been driving around with it like that for a couple years, you couldn't even use the mirror. It just sat there and rattled, but that thing's fixed. As you guys saw in the other videos, the door latches were broken on both doors. It's shut. You can hear it, but they're completely fixed. I mean, these things could not be tighter. And unfortunately for the passenger side, it's a whole different story. I couldn't get a latch for this side. Toyota just doesn't make it anymore, and the eBay ones were crap. So I just wrapped a little electrical tape around it to tighten it up, and I gotta say, it fixed it really well. So for anybody out there that's having latch issues, you can tape them up. It's not the best idea, but it'll do. Okay, and next on the list is that piece of window trim. As you guys saw before, all the paint was completely gone on that whole piece right there. We cleaned it up much better. I went ahead and removed the shock boots. There was one on all 4 corners. I don't really like them, like I mentioned before. Not only do I just think they're ugly, but they just trap water and dirt on the inside, so got rid of those. I don't know if you guys remember the flame job on the skid plate before, but that's long gone. And I still think the most important thing I've fixed since the day I got it is just this front end. It looks so good, completely refreshed with all new parts. The lights look crisp. Definitely satisfied with that. Something that I would like to mention is there used to be a piece of plastic on here that held the seatbelt from going through the spot on the driver's side, but it's completely worn out. My wife noticed that every time I hopped in, I had to reach down the hole to grab the seatbelt. Well, there's this contraption that my wife bought for our 6-year-old daughter when she changed car seats so that it was easier for her to grab the buckle in the Sequoia. And it's actually a 2-pack. So I actually put it on down there from the bottom side, and it keeps the seatbelt up on the seat. That is so cool. So thanks to her a ton, and we just had this one sitting around. The second amazing thing is I've had this truck for 1 month, and the stereo absolutely sucks. I drove back from Sacramento the day we bought it, and I've spent a bunch of hours driving around, and the stereo just sounds like crap. So yesterday I had this crazy idea to figure out how the stereo actually works, and when I went in, it turned out that the rear 6x9s that somebody put in there weren't even turned on. So once I turned those things on and fixed the fader, the stereo rocks in here, which is pretty weird for me to say that it rocks because I'm used to 212s at minimum in every vehicle that I have. So for me to say a couple 6x9s sounds good actually means something. All right, so the funny thing is I get home last night and I'm super excited that I figured out the stereo. So I run inside, grab my wife, bring her outside, throw her in the passenger seat and say, you've got to hear how good the stereo sounds in the T100. So she listens to it, she's pretty wowed, and then I said, not every day that your truck had a secret system that you didn't know about. And you know what? She looks at me weird and says, this isn't a system. So my question to you guys is, 2 6x9s, 2 4.5s maybe, and we took the door panels off when we did those latches, and we saw those are definitely aftermarket speakers. I can't remember what they were, Pioneers, MB Cord, something, but they're aftermarket speakers back there, 6x9s in the back, a Pioneer $69 deck with a USB and a remote control. You guys, is that a system? Please let me know down below. So there it is. I've actually been super fortunate and haven't had to do anything mechanical to this whole thing. I bought one of those little bottles of Lucas fuel additive and added it to a tank of Chevron Supreme, and that is pretty much the extent of that. The 4-wheel drive works perfectly. Brakes are absolutely wonderful. I have nothing but good things to say about it. One thing I have noticed is when you're in it, driving around, you feel like you're in a really small old Toyota truck, but when you see it, it's actually a pretty big vehicle. I mean, it's nothing in comparison to the Crewmax, but I absolutely love that it's just not small. You know, I told you guys I was gonna get an 80s Toyota or an 89 through 95 pickup, and I'm so happy I didn't. All right, so what's next is, I'm kind of thinking a subwoofer right here. I can just see it, something with quick disconnects, maybe a 12, a little amp under the seat or something. I'll leave all the other speakers alone, I'll leave the deck alone, but a subwoofer would just complete the system. Oh, did I just call it a system? Also, like I've mentioned in other videos, I gotta get some window tint going. The Sequoia and the Tundra both have window tint, and once you have tint, you can't go back. And the most controversial change up that I'm thinking about doing is some wheels. You know, my only issue is I just do not like that the fender flare sticks out more than the wheel. It totally drives me crazy. I definitely don't want it sticking out crazy like on the Tundra or anything, but this is a 15 by 8 inch wheel, and I'm thinking if I do a 15 by 10 with like a -45 offset, it'll definitely push the tire and wheel out a little bit, and it'll just look right. So that is definitely something that I'm pondering. You guys got to let me know, should I do it? Should I not do it? I already know the wheel that I have in mind. It's not that expensive at all. I can't stop thinking about doing it. I think it would absolutely change it. Now these wheels look just perfect because they're completely time period correct and they just fit the truck well, but I really am thinking about switching up to these 15 by 10s. And for the time being, just keep these tires. Part of me would love to throw some super swampers on it. This thing's definitely not going on any road trips, so I wouldn't care if it had swampers on it. But I think for now, we'll just leave these tires, but maybe swap out the wheels. But you know what? All in all, it is complete. Like I said before, if I never did one more thing to it, besides take the side molding off the other side, it is absolutely perfect. What do you guys think? Is it a million times better than the day I revealed it, which was actually 30 days ago today? All right, you guys, so that is the truck. It's a wrap. So 1 month to the day after I brought it home, it looks fantastic. I'm super happy with how it all turned out. As you guys know, I have a wife, a full-time job, 2 little kids, a lot going on. So I think it's pretty cool that I knocked the whole thing out in 1 month. But you guys got to let me know what to do about those wheels. Anyways, I don't know what's next, but one thing is for sure. Stay tuned for more great videos. All right, I'll see you guys soon.